Hey, this is Captain Chris Myers, Central Florida Sight Fishing Charters, and I'm constantly amazed at the number of people these days that still do not use braided fishing line. So if you're one of those folks, this video is for you, and I'm here to tell you why you should use it and why it's a lot better. Now, for years I've been using nothing but braid, and I couldn't imagine going back to monofilament, because monofilament has a ton of stretch in it that a lot of times you don't even realize until you fish with braid. So here's the downsides of the mono. You have a lot of stretch, so when you set the hook, it doesn't set the hook as good. It coils up easily, so if you reel against the drag, or if you have a lure that spins, it'll tangle up your line, and when you open up your bail or go to cast, you get a big knot of spaghetti. It doesn't take much to put a nick in it. It'll cause your line to break. Sun will break it down, so it won't last as long overall. So you're fishing with braided line, and by braided lines there's a lot of different kinds. Probably my favorite one to use is this Suffix line. It's the 832 Super Line kind that they have. Super slick, lasts a long time. Another popular brand, is this regular old Power Pro. There's a lot of different brands of braid. They're basically all the same. Some of them have a lot smoother coating, so they'll cast a little better than others, and you'll find that they'll pack on the spool a little better. But any of the braided lines are better than any of the monofilament. For one, with these braided lines, I have no stretch, or very, very little stretch, as much as you can't tell. It's a lot thinner. So this stuff is a 6-pound braided line. It's the size of 2-pound mono. I have some 20-pound braided line here. It's the size of 6-pound mono, so I can get a lot more line on my spool, and since it's thinner, it goes through the guides easier. It'll cast farther, it'll cast light lures better. When you're filling up your spools, a simple way to accomplish that. Now, I like to fill mine all the way up to the edge. Casts a lot easier because there's less friction on the top of the edge of this spool. But if you're filling it up with a small spool, such as this one, and some of these, this one has 150, some of them only have 100, you always want to put some monofilament backing on your spool first. It'll keep the braid from spinning on the arbor, but you don't need all that braid, so fill it up with much cheaper mono, at least a third of the way. Then top it off with braid. Well, if you're filling it up with a little spool like that and you don't guess exactly how much mono you need, you're going to end up with a problem, and you're not going to fill up your spool, or you're going to have 30-40 yards left over that you can't put on another spool. If you're filling it up with a big reel bunch like this, it doesn't quite matter. But here's the trick: if your reel has an extra empty spool, take the empty spool, put it on, put your entire spool of braid, however much you want, the 100, the 150 yards. 150 is usually sufficient. Put the 150 on there, then top it off with mono. Take this spool off, put your other spool on, tie this line, which would have the mono on top, onto your other spool. Take it off of here, put it onto here. Now it's filled up exactly right, just like you need it. Another way you can do it is just go to your local tackle store, have them put it on. It's basically the same cost. You get exactly how much you need. You don't have to throw away any extra. And it's packed on there nicely because they're doing it with a machine, so it's put on there perfectly. Braid will cast farther, lasts longer, doesn't break down in the sun, doesn't twist up, sits the hook better, and you get a cool sound when you hook up fish as it goes through these eyelets. Much, much better overall. The biggest complaint I hear about braid is people get wind knots in it. Perfectly smooth out here right now, and I guarantee you I could create one of those knots. It's not from the wind, it's from not knowing how to operate the spool and keeping tension on your line. If you check out some of my casting videos, I'm going to show you how those knots are created, how not to get them. Put some braid on your reel and put the appropriate size on. If I'm fishing for bass, if I'm catching 5 to 10-pound bass, I really don't need 20-pound line. This 10-pound line will catch 30-pound fish. I catch 30-pound redfish on this 10-pound line over and over and over. Don't overdo your line. You'll be able to cast a lot lighter lures a lot farther when you need it. It's just more fun to use. So So for Central Florida Side Fishing Charters, this is Captain Chris Myers.